My girlfriend was a wealthy heiress. To prove myself to her parents, I worked like a slave for the Liu family for 7 whole years, diligent and obedient without a single complaint. However, when I went to a bar to deliver documents to Willow, I accidentally overheard her chatting with her best friends. One of them asked, "Willow, I heard your mom is setting you up on a blind date. What about George? Isn't your family basically stringing along some lovesick simp?" Willow Liu let out a cold snort. "So what? He's just a bed buddy. You seriously think I'd marry him? If he didn't still have some use to me, I would have dumped him ages ago. We're from completely different worlds. Does he really think he's worthy of me?" But later, when she saw the ancestral jade bracelet passed down from my mother resting on another woman's wrist, she completely lost it. Like a madwoman, she tried to snatch the bracelet while screaming, "That bracelet belongs to me. You have no right to wear it." Chapter 1. George, you're already 30 years old. You're not young anymore. Are you really planning to spend your entire life working without getting married? If you still refuse to date anyone, then come back home for a blind date. Your aunt introduced a girl to us. She's returning from overseas next month and seems pretty wonderful. Come meet her. Okay. Right before the end of the workday, I received a call from my mother. This wasn't the first time she had called to pressure me into marriage. In the past, I always hesitated, but this time, I agreed. "Okay, once I resign, I'll come back on time." There was a brief silence on the other end before she asked in surprise, "You're actually willing to come back?" "Yeah, I'm coming home." After hanging up, I prepared to leave work when the office intercom suddenly rang. "Come in." As I pushed open the office door, the first thing I saw was the woman standing before the floor-to-ceiling window. Slim figure, stunning face. Under the sunlight, she looked breathtakingly beautiful. I walked over. Willow turned around and hooked her arms around my neck, whispering seductively beside my ear, "I'm going to your place tonight. I've got something to do tonight." I took a step back. Willow grabbed my wrist and asked, "What could you possibly have to do?" "I'm meeting a client." I rejected her again. She reached out and slowly undid the buttons at my collar. The marks beneath my white shirt were enough to make anyone blush. Raising an eyebrow, she said, "You know I don't like disobedient men." The moment she finished speaking, Willow's kisses rained down on me relentlessly. I frowned. I let her kiss me, but inside, I felt nothing but emptiness. Yesterday, I had gone to the bar to deliver documents to her and personally overheard her chatting with those rich heiresses. "Willow, I heard the old lady is arranging a marriage candidate for you. What about George?" Willow replied casually, "What about him? He's just a bed partner. What do you expect me to do? If he weren't attentive enough, I would have replaced him long ago." "Marry him, please." Everyone knew I was hopelessly in love with Willow, so deeply in love that no matter when or where, as long as she called, I would appear immediately. But I never expected that in Willow's eyes, I was nothing more than a bed partner. At that moment, I finally woke up. I still drove Willow home as usual. The moment the door opened, Willow turned around and wrapped herself around me, effortlessly igniting my desire. Tonight, Willow was unusually proactive, but for me, it only felt like torture. Afterward, she lay in my arms and said, "I'm getting engaged." I barely reacted. I had already known about it, so what reaction was left for me to have? She asked, "You're not angry?" My response didn't surprise Willow at all. From the very first day we got together, she had never once seen me show emotional extremes. I was like a machine, as if nothing and no one could truly affect me. I knew my place. I understood boundaries. Most importantly, my eyes and brows resembled that person by 50%. That was also one of the main reasons she chose me. I said, "No, go to sleep. I'm tired." I turned over, deliberately putting some distance between us. Willow frowned in dissatisfaction and poked my back. "Hold me while we sleep." But this time, I didn't respond. I simply stiffened my body, closed my eyes, and remained awake the entire night. Chapter 2. Early the next morning, when Willow woke up, I was already gone from her side. She went downstairs and didn't see the breakfast I usually prepared for her. Whenever I stayed over before, I would always prepare the clothes she would wear the next day, along with matching shoes. She had extremely picky tastes. The steak she ate every morning had to be the freshest available. I would go to the market early to personally pick the ingredients, rush back home, and cook before she came downstairs. But this morning, I hadn't prepared her clothes, nor had I made breakfast. When she came downstairs, I was sitting in the yard basking in the sunlight, a rare smile lingering on my lips. Willow walked out and asked, "Where's my breakfast?" The moment I heard her voice, the smile disappeared from my face. "I didn't make any." "Why not? You know the thing I want most after waking up is the breakfast you make." Willow frowned. She vaguely sensed that something about me today felt strange. I said, "I'm going out to meet a client soon. I didn't have time. Tell the servants to make something for you." I turned to leave, but Willow grabbed my arm. "What's wrong with you? Realizing something was off, her tone softened. Is this because you don't like the idea of me getting engaged? You know it's my family's decision. Besides, I haven't agreed to it yet. You misunderstood. Miss Liu, who you marry is your freedom. After all, you made it very clear from the very beginning, between us, there's only sex, no love. I shook off her hand and left without looking back. When I returned to the company, I found a gift box sitting on my desk. A coworker walked over and teased. Assistant Wang, got yourself another admirer sending gifts? Without reacting, I opened the box. Inside was a limited edition tie, and this was already the third one I had received. I knew exactly who sent it. Only Willow would give such thoughtless gifts. Every time after we slept together, her gift would appear on my desk right on schedule. I once casually mentioned liking ties. From then on, every gift Willow gave me was a tie. Different colors of the same design, different styles from the same collection, sometimes even the exact same tie, over and over again. In the past, I used to treasure every gift she gave me. Even knowing she hadn't put much thought into it, I would still feel happy. But now, I felt nothing. Do you want it? You can have it. I handed the tie to my male coworker, who immediately hung it around his neck excitedly. Seriously, this is limited edition. Assistant Wang, you're way too generous. He proudly showed it off everywhere just as Willow stepped out of the elevator. The moment she saw me casually giving away the gift she bought me, anger instantly surged through her. She dragged me into the office. George, what exactly are you sulking about? I told you from the very beginning that the person I marry someday would never be you. I know, I answered calmly. President Liu, I know all of that. Then what exactly are you trying to do? Nothing. It's just that I already have 3 identical ties. I'm tired of them. I don't want them anymore. Willow Liu froze. Had she really given me 3 identical ties? They were all the newest releases, limited editions, worth a fortune. She bought them casually, assuming I would definitely like them. Then next time, I'll give you something else. There won't be a next time. I glanced at my watch. President Liu, it's 9 o'clock. Your meeting is about to start. Willow stared at my back as I walked away, falling into deep thought. While preparing the meeting materials for her, my stomach started hurting again. In the past, I would have endured it. But this time, I opened the hospital appointment app without hesitation. I was going to take leave and see a doctor. During the meeting, Willow clearly wasn't focused. Her dark eyes stayed fixed on me the entire time. But from beginning to end, I never once looked back at her. Chapter 3. After the meeting ended, it was lunchtime. Willow wanted to ask me out to eat, only to discover that I was no longer at the company. Where's George? President Liu, didn't Assistant Wang tell you? He took the afternoon off. Where did he go? A leave of absence. After all these years of working, I had never once taken leave. Even when I had a high fever and nearly collapsed, I still stayed at my post. So why was I suddenly taking time off? And without even telling her, we don't know. Find out where he went. At the hospital, the doctor told me my stomach problems came from going too long without eating properly. Yeah, after spending all these years working like a slave for Willow, I had almost forgotten what it felt like to eat properly. After seeing the doctor, I didn't rush back to the office. Instead, I found a quiet place to sit. The afternoon sunlight was warm and blazing. I sat by the window, leisurely sipping coffee. It had been a very long time since I calmly drank a cup of coffee while enjoying the scenery. All these years following behind Willow, I had nearly drained myself dry. It was finally time for me to live for myself. My phone suddenly vibrated. I lowered my eyes and saw Willow's incoming call. I glanced at it and ignored it. Willow panicked. Call after call came flooding in. Annoyed, I simply turned my phone off. When she realized I had shut down my phone, Willow was so furious she nearly smashed hers. I stayed in the cafe the entire afternoon. For the first time, I felt that time belonged solely to me. Only after night fell did I turn my phone back on. It was filled with missed calls and endless messages from Willow. The messages read, "Where did you go? I'm waiting for you at your place. Come back immediately. George, I'm giving you 30 minutes. Get back here right now. The last message had been sent at 3 in the afternoon. Now it was already 6. Looking at Willow's texts, I let out a cold laugh. Just from reading those words, I could already imagine how furious she must be right now. I wandered around for a while longer, ate some food I actually liked, and only then slowly headed home. The apartment was pitch black. I bent down to change my shoes. After turning on the lights, I finally saw the woman sitting on the sofa. The moment Willow saw me come back so late, she exploded hysterically. "Where the hell did you go? Do you know how long I've been waiting here for you?" I ignored her and walked to the bar counter to pour myself a glass of water. In the past, the one waiting here had always been me. As long as Willow said she was coming over, no matter how late it was, I would sit on the sofa and wait for her. If she said she'd come at 10, I would start looking forward to it from 6. If she said she'd come the next day and mentioned she liked the scent of sunlight, I would change the bed sheets early. Even the blankets would be taken outside to dry in the sun before I carefully replaced the covers and made the bed again. But now, I was tired. I would never wait for her again. George, I'm talking to you. Are you deaf? She grabbed my arm, her dark eyes filled with anger. In contrast, my reaction remained calm. I had things to do. If Miss Lou didn't want to wait, you could have left. What's wrong with you? You've been acting weird all day. Nothing. I moved past her and prepared to head upstairs. The anger Willow had been suppressing all day finally exploded. George, remember your place. No one has ever made me wait this long. Don't forget, you're only your what? I interrupted her. Bed partner. Willow froze. Then she asked softly. You heard what I said to them that night. At last, Willow understood why I had suddenly changed. She said, I was just talking casually. I didn't mean anything by it. I laughed. Then I asked. So tell me, what exactly am I to you? I lifted my eyes, my sharp gaze locking onto hers. Willow fell silent, unable to say a single word. I'm tired. You should leave. For the very first time, I rejected her. I returned to my room, took a hot shower, changed clothes, and prepared to sleep. Downstairs, the woman leaned against her car and looked up at my window, refusing to leave for a long time. I ignored her. I closed the curtains, turned off the lights, and quickly fell asleep. Chapter 4. Early the next morning, before I was even fully awake, my phone started ringing. George, hurry and check the news. Willow publicly canceled the engagement her grandmother arranged for her. Was it because of you? I shot up from bed and immediately turned on the television. Sure enough, I saw Willow telling reporters that she would be canceling the engagement because there was someone more important in her heart. My heartbeat skipped, looking at the certainty in Willow's eyes. Excitement surged through me. George, congratulations. You finally won Willow's heart. After hanging up, my emotions refused to settle down for a long time. I wanted to call Willow and ask what she meant by those words. Was she really canceling the engagement for me? Before I could dial, I received a message from Willow. 8 p.m. tonight. Come to the Moore Hotel. There's a banquet. I want you there with me. The moment I read the text, I finally smiled. She rarely invited me to public events. In the past, no matter where she went, she almost never brought me along. But now, she was actually taking the initiative to invite me to a banquet. I texted my friend, and he excitedly replied. Is Willow finally planning to make your relationship public? George, after all these years, your devotion finally paid off. I pressed my lips together, genuine anticipation rising in my heart. Inwardly, I whispered to myself, one last time, one final chance for Willow, and for myself. I went to the mall and swiped my card for an expensive suit worth tens of thousands. Then I visited a stylist, got my hair done, and arrived at the entrance of the Moore Hotel exactly on time. I had already heard a little about tonight's banquet, a high society auction. The guests were all influential figures from elite circles. Standing at the entrance, I took a deep breath. Subconsciously, my hand touched the small box hidden inside my suit pocket before I stepped into the grand ballroom. The luxurious hall was overflowing with people, filled with laughter, clinking glasses, and dazzling elegance. And among the sea of glamorous faces, I spotted the woman I had been longing for at first glance. I started walking toward her when I suddenly heard someone say, I honestly didn't expect Willow to bring someone with her tonight. I heard it's the man she's truly in love with. He finally came back from overseas. No wonder she held a press conference this morning and canceled the engagement with the Bai family's young master. So her true love really returned. The smile on my face gradually froze. True love? What true love? Then the woman in the distance turned around, and the man holding her arm turned with her. I saw a face that looked strikingly similar to mine. At that moment, the blood in my body turned ice cold. Who was he? Who was that man? Willow's true love. I had been with Willow for 7 years. How had I never known there was someone she truly loved? A sharp pain pierced my chest. I turned to leave, but the man suddenly called out to me. George, you came. George, Willow's assistant. Why does he look so much like Makoto? You seriously don't know? He's obviously a substitute. I heard that during the 7 years Makoto was away, Willow found herself a replacement. That must be him. The crowd stared at me as whispers spread everywhere. Those words poured endlessly into my ears. It felt as though someone was strangling my throat, leaving me unable to breathe. Hello, Mr. Wong. Makoto walked over to me and sized me up from head to toe. Sorry about this. I heard from Willow that you don't like attending events like these, but I really wanted to meet you, so I asked her to bring you along. Catching the provocation hidden in his eyes, my fingers slowly clenched into fists at my sides. I asked, you wanted to see me? Chapter 5. So Willow canceled the engagement not because of me, but because her true love had returned. And the reason she invited me to the banquet was simply so her real love could see what his substitute looked like. My heart shattered into pieces. Pain spread through my chest as my legs suddenly lost strength, leaving me barely able to stand. I just heard someone say Assistant Wang looks a little like me. Willow, do you think so too? Tilting his head, Makoto asked Willow with a smile. Willow chuckled lightly and answered carelessly. Just a coincidence. He could never compare to you. Hearing those words, I staggered backward from the pain in my chest. I turned around, wanting to leave, but Makoto stopped me. Mr. Wang, I haven't even offered you a drink yet. Thank you for taking care of Willow all these years in my place. She's spoiled and difficult. It must not have been easy for you. His arrogant posture made him look like the rightful partner, while I looked like some pathetic homewrecker. Everyone's eyes stayed fixed on me. The way they looked at me was like I was some kind of joke. I forced out a faint smile. It was my job. I was paid to do it. There's nothing hard about that, though I imagine you've done quite a lot beyond work too, haven't you? Makoto deliberately raised his voice, laughing openly. But now that I'm back, Mr. Wang, there are some things you won't need to handle for me anymore. I lifted my eyes toward Willow. She stood there expressionless, not even glancing at me, as though everything happening right now had absolutely nothing to do with her. Disappointment flooded me as I nodded faintly. Okay, I understand. I turned to leave, accidentally bumping into a waiter carrying wine glasses. Red wine spilled all over me, ruining the expensive suit I had spent tens of thousands on. Makoto looked startled. Mr. Wang, are you all right? Your clothes are ruined. I'll have the staff bring you a new suit so you can change first. No need. Compared to Makoto, I looked utterly miserable right now, like a stray dog abandoned on the street. When Willow saw my stained clothes and my unsteady step, she instinctively moved forward to help me, but Makoto grabbed her hand first. Willow, since Mr. Wang doesn't need my help, let's go inside. The auction's about to begin. Willow nodded. She withdrew the hand that had been about to support me, glanced at me briefly, and said, "Hurry home and change your clothes. Don't catch a cold." After saying that, the two of them walked away without looking back. The crowd gradually dispersed around me while I remained standing there for a long time, unmoving. At that moment, I completely gave up on Willow. I had never known I was just a substitute, but the moment I saw Makoto, countless things I never understood before suddenly made sense. I finally understood why Willow loved giving me that specific brand of tie, because it was the same one Makoto wore around his neck. I lowered my eyes as they slowly reddened. Back at the apartment, I still wore the ruined suit. The diamond ring I had carefully chosen with so much joy was tossed onto the table. I stared blankly at the cold moonlight outside the window. I remembered the first time I met Willow 7 years ago. Back then, I desperately needed money and worked part-time at a bar. That was where I met her. Willow noticed me immediately and chose me to become her personal assistant. As time passed, I gradually developed feelings for her. Maybe she sensed it, because one day, she took the initiative and invited me to become her lover. At the time, she never made our relationship public. I thought it was only a matter of time, but now I knew. No matter how long I stayed by her side, I would never become her boyfriend, or her husband, and at that moment, I finally made up my mind to leave. Chapter 6. The next morning, I woke up very early and prepared to resign. When I went downstairs, I saw Willow. She had arrived early in the morning. Knowing I was still asleep, she hadn't disturbed me. She remembered that my favorite soup dumplings came from the shop on South Street, so she had gone there specially this morning to buy them for me. Seeing her, I didn't react much. "You're awake." Instead, Willow seemed unusually enthusiastic. "I bought your favorite soup dumplings. I stood in line forever for them. My feet are sore." "I'm not hungry," I replied. I bent down, changed my shoes, and prepared to leave. Seeing my attitude, Willow became angry. "What's your problem now? Do you even know how long I waited in line to buy these?" "President Liu, I never asked you to do any of this. I need to head out now. I don't have time to argue with you." She grabbed my arm. "You're angry because of Makoto." I pressed my lips together, neither admitting nor denying it. Willow sneered. "Anyway, we were never going to get married, so does it really matter whether you're a substitute or not?" That sentence truly hurt me. I nodded. "It doesn't matter, President Liu. It's getting late. I still need to go to the company." When I arrived at the office and sat down at my desk, I immediately opened my computer and wrote a resignation letter. After printing it out, I planned to hand it to Willow personally, but she wasn't in her office. Coincidentally, her driver had come to pick something up. I handed him the resignation letter. "Please give this to Willow for me." When Willow received my resignation letter, she was shocked at first, but then she merely laughed. Where could he possibly go after leaving me? "George can't survive without me. He's just throwing a tantrum because Makoto came back. He'll get over it soon enough. Ignore him." After resigning, I suddenly felt an overwhelming sense of relief. I took a taxi home, only to realize that this apartment wasn't really my home either. It was simply a place Willow had arranged for me to live in. The moment I pushed open the door, I realized someone had already been here. I immediately strode into the living room and saw the men sitting on my sofa. Makoto. Hello, Mr. Wong. Makoto Ito had entered my home and was casually sitting on my couch. In front of him were my ties. This is my house. Isn't it inappropriate for Mr. Ito to just walk in uninvited? I stared at him coldly, my tone unfriendly. I hated people barging in without permission. My house. Makoto smiled and casually shook the key in his hand. If this were really your house, then why would I have the key? He stood up and walked over to me. Mr. Wong, don't tell me you didn't know this apartment was originally a gift Willow gave me. It was only because I didn't want it that she passed it on to you. Looking at the men in front of me, I pressed my lips tightly together as my fists slowly clenched. Even this apartment had belonged to Makoto. And this tie too. Does Mr. Ito enjoy touching other people's belongings? I reached out, trying to snatch the tie back. Makoto easily dodged me and said calmly, "How do you know this belongs to you instead of me? Did you know, Mr. Wong? This brand of tie is my favorite. The entire collection in your closet is also my favorite. Mr. Wong, let me kindly remind you, Willow doesn't love you at all. The person she loves is me." Then Makoto left. Chapter 7. Now that I was alone in the apartment, the place no longer felt like a home. It felt like a prison. Makoto was right. It was time for me to wake up from this dream. I threw away every gift Willow had ever given me, except for the ties. I had already started looking for a new apartment online, ready to move out at any moment. When the employees at the company heard I was leaving, some of them were reluctant to see me go. They organized a farewell gathering at a KTV and invited me along. At 8 o'clock that night, I arrived at Scarlet right on time. The moment I pushed open the private room door, I immediately saw Willow and Makoto sitting beside her. Assistant Wong is here. The moment I saw them, I wanted to leave, but it was already too late. Someone grabbed me and pulled me inside. Assistant Wong, look how important you are. Even President Liu personally came tonight. I frowned. If I had known she was coming, I never would have shown up. Someone asked, "President Liu, who's the gentleman beside you? Aren't you going to introduce him?" One of the senior managers who had worked with Willow for years began teasing playfully. I lifted my eyes just in time to see Willow take Makoto's hand. She smiled and said, "I forgot to introduce him. This is my boyfriend, Makoto. He just returned from overseas." At that moment, it felt as though I could actually hear my heart shattering. For 7 years, all I ever wanted was for Willow to personally acknowledge me as her boyfriend. But instead, she publicly announced another man. The atmosphere in the room instantly became awkward. Everyone turned to look at me. For all these years, I had always been the person standing beside Willow. Everyone had witnessed how much I sacrificed for her. Everyone believed that one day, I would marry Willow. Even I believed it myself. Come on, let's all toast the boss together. The crowd started cheering loudly. Willow glanced at me. "What about you? You're resigning already, and you won't even give me a proper toast." I had stomach problems, an illness I developed from exhausting myself for Willow. The doctor had repeatedly warned me not to drink alcohol. I can't drink. Lowering my eyes, I picked up a glass of water from the table. "I'll use tea instead of alcohol. Here's to you, boss." I deliberately emphasized the word boss. Then I drank the water in one gulp. But Willow clearly wasn't satisfied. "What's wrong? Now that you've resigned, you won't even drink a glass of alcohol for me? George, you really know how to embarrass me." My resignation letter was still sitting in her car. The thought that I was supposedly throwing a tantrum over her made Willow feel irritated and suffocated inside. Makoto suddenly spoke up. "Willow, don't be like this. We're here tonight to send Mr. Wong off. How about this? Mr. Wong, let me toast you instead. Thank you for taking care of Willow and the company all these years." Makoto reached for a drink, but Willow immediately stopped him. "Why are you drinking? Your stomach isn't good. What if you feel so sick tonight that you can't sleep?" Makoto laughed softly. "That was 7 years ago. You still remember that? My stomach's been fine for ages." But Willow still refused. "If he won't drink, then neither should you." Her words were like sharp knives, stabbing into my heart over and over again. Chapter 8. I had stomach problems, but she never knew. Makoto had stomach problems 7 years ago, and she remembered every detail perfectly. I didn't want to look at them anymore. I twisted open a bottle of beer on the table and began drinking in silence. Willow glanced at me. Seeing that I kept drinking, she couldn't help saying, "You claim you can't drink, but now you won't stop drinking. George, you're a grown man. Do you really have to act like this?" Willow let out a cold laugh. "I asked you to toast Makoto and you wouldn't even do that. Since when did you become this petty?" After speaking, she walked out of the private room. But before she could go far, several burly men suddenly blocked her path. Well, what a beautiful lady. Willow frowned and tried to move around them, only to be stopped again. What do you want? What do we want? What do you think we want? The man leading them waved his hand, and the others immediately stepped forward to grab her. Just as Willow was about to cry for help, I happened to walk over. George, save me. Instinctively, Willow called out to me for help. Expressionless, I said. Let her go. The burly man glanced at me and sneered. Who the hell are you? Mind your own business if you know what's good for you. The moment he finished speaking, I threw a punch straight into his face. Let her go. Then I kicked him hard in the stomach, instantly enraging him. Damn it, George. Fine. You hit me once, but now you won't stop. If this keeps going, I'm charging extra for this job. Amid the chaos, Willow had finally broken free and was rubbing her reddened wrists in confusion. What money? Nothing much. This gentleman hired us to kidnap you so he could swoop in and play the hero. Said it'd force you to marry him. What? Now you want to deny it? The moment Willow heard that, she exploded. George, you actually hired people to kidnap me. Have you lost your mind? Looking at the woman in front of me, I curled my lips into a mocking smile. You really can't tell. I don't even know these people. Besides, in your eyes, am I really this kind of person? At that moment, a voice suddenly came from behind us. What's going on here? Makoto appeared at the perfect moment. Willow rushed straight into his arms, nearly bursting into tears. Makoto, I was so scared just now. I can't believe George is this kind of person. Makoto looked at me coldly. It's okay, Willow. George, this is disgusting. Are you even human? Even though Makoto was cursing at me, I still caught the fleeting smugness and provocation hidden in his eyes. And suddenly, I understood everything. These men had been hired by him. I said, Makoto, why are you framing me? You hired these people, didn't you? I don't even know them. Enough. Willow interrupted furiously. George, you're completely hopeless. Willow, let's go. Makoto held Willow's hand and prepared to leave. Before walking away, Willow turned back to glance at me. You've truly disappointed me. Since these people were hired by you, we might as well not waste their trip here. Then she looked at the men and said coldly, you guys, beat him up. I'll pay for it. Chapter 9. After throwing out those words, Willow left without hesitation. As I stared at her departing figure, my heart finally died completely. Boys, looks like we can really enjoy ourselves tonight. We're getting paid by both sides and still get to beat someone up. We should definitely work with Mr. Ito again next time. Mr. Ito. I nearly laughed out loud. Just as I suspected, this entire thing had been a performance directed by Makoto himself. His acting was so terrible. Unfortunately, Willow would never see through him. Several men blocked my path and forcibly dragged me toward the private room. I struggled a few times, but 2 fists couldn't beat 4 hands. During the struggle, still unwilling to give up, I shouted Willow's name several times toward her retreating back, but watching her remain completely indifferent, the last trace of hope in my heart shattered entirely. Turn the music up. Don't let people outside hear anything. Boys, beat the hell out of him. They rushed at me, punching and kicking without restraint. The lights before my eyes gradually blurred. I shifted my gaze and noticed a beer bottle on the table, a ruthless glint flashing through my eyes. Back home, Willow continued having nightmares even after falling asleep. Ah, no. Seeing the terrified look on her face, Makoto hugged her tenderly. It's okay, Willow. Everything's fine now. Why would George do something like this to me? Willow's eyes reddened. Makoto sighed softly. Yeah, I never expected this either. Maybe he blames me for coming back. Maybe he was afraid I'd take you away from him. So he hired people to put on that whole act. What right does he have to blame you? Don't worry, I'll make him apologize to you. The next morning, Willow stormed angrily to my apartment, but nobody was there. She immediately called her secretary. Find out where George is. As she waited, the fury inside her only burned hotter. George really had some nerve now, actually daring not to come home all night. The secretary hesitated. President Liu. Assistant Wang. What happened to him? Tell him to get his ass back here immediately. About last night, I want an explanation from him. President Liu, we found Assistant Wang's belongings at Scarlet, but Assistant Wang himself is missing. There was a violent fight there last night. The police have already sealed off the scene. There's blood everywhere. We heard that someone died. What? Hearing the assistant's words, Willow's body shook violently. She asked in disbelief. Say that again. The police said, the person who died is very likely Assistant Wang. Willow shook her head frantically. That's impossible. He can't be dead. Find him for me. Even if you have to dig 3 feet into the ground. Bring him back. Her legs weakened so badly she could barely stand. The moment she remembered the hopeless look in my eyes before she left last night, it felt like knives twisting through her heart. I only told them to teach him a lesson. How could he die? Willow rushed to Scarlet. The place truly had been sealed off by the police. As soon as she entered the crowd, she heard people whispering, "What a tragedy. I heard that guy fought desperately against the attackers last night and was eventually stabbed to death with a beer bottle. They said he was beaten beyond recognition, covered in blood and wounds. Absolutely horrifying. Yeah, if only someone had saved him. He must have felt so hopeless back then." Those discussions poured into Willow's ears. Her body stiffened as she slowly walked toward the private room. Inside was complete chaos. Broken glass littered the floor everywhere. Blood covered the ground, even the walls. Chapter 10. Everywhere she looked, there was blood. Bright red blood. A horrifying sight. Among the shattered glass scattered across the floor, Willow spotted George's sneakers. She remembered that pair. It was the gift he had bought for himself on his birthday last year. Back then, he had even smiled and told her, "Can you stop giving me ties for my birthdays from now on? I already have several of the exact same one." Then he laughed and said, "Buy me shoes instead. This year, I'll buy them for myself. Next year, you have to buy them for me." Okay. But this year, the gift she gave him was still that same tie. Only now did Willow Lou realize that she had never truly taken George's words to heart. Seeing her swaying unsteadily, the secretary hurried over to support her. "President Lou, are you all right? Where is George?" Her voice trembled violently. The blood everywhere made her feel sick to her stomach. The secretary lowered her head. "We still haven't found him, President Lou, but judging from the scene, Assistant Wang may really be dead. Where are the people who hurt him? Where are they?" Willow demanded emotionally. Her fingers clenched so tightly they turned pale. "They've already been taken to the police station." Biting her lip hard, Willow said, "Don't let any of them go, and keep searching for George. I want to see him alive, or see his body if he's dead. If you can't find him, then don't come back to see me." She shoved the secretary aside and stumbled back to George's apartment. Everything inside remained exactly the same. All of George's belongings were still there. He had never returned. Willow slowly walked into his walk-in closet. The moment she saw the rows of ties lined neatly on the shelves, guilt flooded her eyes. When George mentioned it before, she never truly understood what he meant. But now, staring at row after row of nearly identical ties, unbearable pain spread through her entire body. How could she have been this heartless? How could she spend 7 straight years giving him almost the exact same gift over and over again? How could she ignore George's cries for help out of anger, and even order people to beat him? If George was really dead, she would probably never forgive herself for the rest of her life. Willow clenched her fists tightly, drowning in agony she couldn't escape. For several days in a row, there was still no news about George. She didn't want to go anywhere anymore. Every day, she simply stayed inside George's apartment, waiting for updates. Without both her and George at the company, everything had already fallen into complete chaos. No one expected George's disappearance to deal such a devastating blow to Willow. Not even Makoto had expected it. He called Willow several times, but the moment she heard his voice, she hung up immediately. For the first time ever, Makoto eventually came to George's apartment to find her. The moment he walked in, he saw Willow sitting blankly on the sofa. Her hair was disheveled. Her eyes were lifeless. She stared absent-mindedly at the only photograph George had left behind. Makoto instantly became furious. He snatched the photo from her hands. "Willow, do you even realize what you're doing? Give it back." Chapter 11. Willow lifted her eyes. Her dark gaze was so cold that it carried no warmth at all. The moment Makoto met her eyes, his heart trembled. He had rarely ever seen Willow look at him like this, and for the first time, he panicked. "Willow, don't be like this. George might already be dead." But Willow asked coldly, "That night at Scarlet, was it really George who hired people to kidnap me?" She stood up, trembling violently with rage. Makoto paused briefly before saying, "Willow, calm down." Willow shouted, "I'm asking you, was it really George who arranged for them to kidnap me or not?" "Yes." Makoto grabbed her tightly. "Willow, you heard what those men said that night too. George was obviously the one who hired them to kidnap you. If I hadn't shown up in time, who knows what could have happened?" Willow demanded. "Then why did they beat him so brutally afterward?" "I only told them to teach him a lesson. If they actually knew each other, how could things have escalated this far?" Willow roared, her eyes already red. "How would I know?" Makoto immediately defended himself. "Maybe George staged the whole thing himself. Maybe he disappeared on purpose just to get your attention. Otherwise, how could the police fail to find him after all these days?" Makoto's words slowly brought Willow's seemingly dead heart back to life. She stared at him. "You mean George isn't dead?" "He's not dead. He definitely isn't dead." As Makoto watched the light gradually return to Willow's eyes, he suddenly seemed to realize something. "Willow, have you fallen for George?" That question made Willow's heart jolt violently. Fallen for George? Had she? 7 years had passed. Maybe she was simply used to having George by her side. Now that he was suddenly gone, perhaps she just couldn't adapt. Instinctively, she denied it. No. Hearing her denial, Makoto excitedly wrapped his arms around her. Willow, I knew it. I knew you loved me. I'm your boyfriend now. Right. Stop thinking about George. Okay, he's definitely fine. Willow slowly raised her arms and hugged Makoto back. But inside her mind, everywhere she looked, there was only George. If he was truly alive, where could he possibly have gone? And if he refused to come back, did that mean he genuinely wanted to leave her? Even though she always knew this day would eventually come, her heart still hurt unbearably. Chapter 12. When I woke up, several days had already passed. I only remembered struggling desperately before losing too much blood and passing out. When I opened my eyes again, I was in an unfamiliar place. A woman in a white coat saw me wake up and immediately cried out in surprise. Anna, quick, come over. He's awake. My eyes shifted slightly. Then I looked up and saw two strikingly beautiful women standing beside the bed. The woman in the white coat examined me briefly before saying, "Looks like he's fine now, Anna. I'm leaving first. Call me if anything happens." Anna. That name sounded strangely familiar, though I couldn't remember where I had heard it before. My gaze naturally fell on the other woman. She was stunningly beautiful, carrying an elegant and distant aura, cold and refined. I asked, "You were the one who saved me?" Everything from that night still remained vivid in my memory. I remembered those men rushing at me together. In desperation, I smashed a beer bottle and stabbed one of them. The men flew into a rage afterward and stabbed me several times with the broken bottle. Just as the pain left me completely unable to fight back, a woman suddenly burst into the private room with several people and saved me. Before losing consciousness, the last face I saw was hers. Anna nodded and sat beside me. "Are you hungry?" I licked my dry lips. "I'm more thirsty than hungry." The woman handed me a glass of water. "Drink some water." "Thank you." After drinking, I felt much better. I lifted the blanket and tried to get out of bed, but the sharp pain from my abdomen immediately made me frown. "Your wounds haven't healed yet. You shouldn't move around carelessly." "It's fine. Thank you for saving my life. If I get the chance, I'll repay you." I still insisted on leaving. Anna didn't force me to stay. The moment George left, the doctor from earlier suddenly jumped back out from the side and asked Anna, "Why did you let him leave? His injuries aren't even healed yet." Anna pressed her lips together softly. "That's just the kind of person he is." She stared at George's departing figure, lost in thought. He's always been inseparable from Willow, logically speaking. Why hasn't Willow come looking for him after all this time? Maybe he and Willow broke up. Anna nodded slightly. "I hope so." The moment she accidentally voiced her true thoughts, her friend immediately gave her a knowing look. "I knew you liked him, but you kept denying it. And that night, you even deliberately spread rumors saying he was dead." "Seriously, Anna, I never realized you could be this scheming." Anna stayed silent. She had indeed fallen for George a long time ago. George simply never knew it. Her friend continued. "And another thing, it seems like he still didn't recognize you." Anna replied calmly. That's okay. There'll be opportunities in the future." After her friend left, Anna's mother called her. "Anna, now that you're finally back, can we arrange your blind date?" As long as he agrees. I'm ready anytime." Anna's mother laughed. "You silly girl. You sound completely impatient already. Go ahead and get married then. A grown daughter really can't be kept at home." Anna pouted. "Mom, what are you talking about?" After hanging up, Anna smiled softly. More than anyone else in the world, she hoped to marry him. Chapter 13. I never returned to the apartment. Instead, I rented a new place outside the city. Right after settling into the rental, my mother called me. "George Wong, you've really gotten bold, haven't you? Ignoring my calls for days, you're trying to dodge the blind date, aren't you?" The moment I answered, I heard my mother's furious voice. I had been unconscious for several days, and she had called me countless times without getting a response. My mother continued angrily. "I'm telling you right now, that young lady is back. You'd better go meet her immediately. Otherwise don't even think about coming home for New Year's." Before I could explain anything, she hung up in a huff. I rubbed my aching forehead. Still, this was something I couldn't avoid forever, so I reluctantly agreed to go on the blind date. After adding the woman on WeChat, we arranged to meet that afternoon. At the cafe, the moment the woman walked through the entrance, I froze in shock. Wasn't she the woman who saved me? The moment Anna saw me, an uncontrollable smile curved her red lips. Inside, she thought, how could he possibly know that this blind date was something I deliberately fought so hard to arrange? "Hello, George. I'm Anna." Anna sat gracefully across from me, elegant and composed. I smiled and nodded politely. "Hello, Anna. Mr. Wong, I came back this time because I want to find someone to marry. I don't like beating around the bush, and I don't like wasting time. I think you're wonderful. What about you, Mr. Wong? What do you think of me? I took a sip of coffee. Hearing her words, I nearly choked. I stared at her in disbelief. What? She calmly repeated. What I mean is, if Mr. Wong is reasonably satisfied with me, we can go get our marriage certificate immediately. With great seriousness, Anna pulled out a bank card and a set of keys from her pocket and handed them to me. In this card is everything I own. The keys to the house and car are here too. After marriage, you'll handle all the finances. I'm not really the domestic type, so if you accept this arrangement, I'll have to trouble you to take care of our home in the future. Of course, this would only be a contractual marriage to satisfy our parents. It wouldn't be a real marriage. Looking at how serious she was, curiosity rose in my heart. Miss Sue, have you really thought this through? You barely know me. You haven't even asked about my past. She answered softly. Everyone has a past, whatever yours may be. Mr. Wong, I don't mind. Anna Sue was actually nervous. She was afraid I would reject her. She never expected me to truly agree to this blind date. After all, I had been with Willow for so many years. How could Willow possibly allow me to come on a blind date? But now that I was here, she wanted to keep me. Seeing the determination in her eyes, my grip on the coffee cup tightened slightly. I lowered my head, unsure how to answer. During the 7 years I spent with Willow, I had brought up marriage several times, but every single time, Willow would simply hold me and say gloomily, "You know it's impossible, right?" Something that was impossible for Willow was now being offered so easily by a woman I had barely met. My heart became completely unsettled. Then Anna suddenly smiled lightly and teased. I remember Mr. Wong saying he'd repay me someday. I froze for a moment, then I finally made my decision. Looking directly at her, I asked, "Are you free right now? I happen to have my household registration booklet with me. We can go register our marriage immediately." Joy instantly filled Anna's eyes, and a beautiful smile spread across her lips. Really? I nodded. Really? If I truly had to find someone to marry, then I thought Anna was actually a wonderful choice. At the very least, she was beautiful and kind-hearted. Far better than Willow. Chapter 14. The two of us walked out of the cafe side by side. Just after we left, Willow and Makoto entered from the front entrance. Ever since George disappeared, Willow had been in terrible spirits. To cheer her up, Makoto specifically invited her out for coffee. "Willow, what would you like to drink?" "A caramel latte." The server quickly brought over the coffee. Willow lowered her head and took a sip, only for her brows to immediately knit together. This taste couldn't even compare to the coffee George used to make. Whenever she said she wanted coffee, George would wake up at 5 in the morning just to grind the beans by hand and brew it for her personally. After all these years, only George's coffee suited her tastes perfectly. Suddenly, she missed him terribly, but where exactly was he? Lost in thought, she absent-mindedly looked up, only to catch sight of a figure across the street that looked strikingly similar to George. She murmured softly, "George? What George?" Makoto followed her gaze. Across the street, a man bent down and stepped into a Maybach parked by the curb. Makoto sneered, "Willow, are you so obsessed with George now that you're hallucinating? How could he possibly be here? Besides, there's no way someone like him could afford a car like that." After the car door closed, the window slowly rolled down. Willow saw the face that had haunted her thoughts day and night. She immediately rushed outside. "George! Willow!" But by the time she ran out, the car had already driven away. That face really looked exactly like George. Could Makoto have been right? Was George actually alive? Had he simply disappeared on purpose for a while because he wanted her to care about him? Willow hurried toward her car, wanting to chase after it, but Makoto grabbed her arm. "Willow, stop this. The car is already gone. You'll never catch up. Besides, you definitely saw wrong." Willow could only watch helplessly as the car completely disappeared from sight. Makoto pulled the devastated Willow back into the cafe, but her mind was filled entirely with George. No matter what it took, she had to find him. Outside the Civil Affairs Bureau, I opened the marriage certificate, still feeling dazed. I never expected that I would actually get married on impulse. When I turned my head, I saw the woman beside me taking photos of the marriage certificate with her phone, a faint smile resting on her lips. I frowned. This woman, she was this happy just because she got married? I asked. "What are you doing?" "Taking pictures. I'm going to post them online." I froze. Was she really planning to announce it publicly? I had been Willow's lover for 7 years. Even though everyone already knew about our relationship, Willow had never once considered making it public. But Anna, a woman as outstanding as her, couldn't wait to announce her marriage the moment it happened. I let out a soft laugh. The difference between people really was enormous. "Can you not post it for now?" I didn't want news of my impulsive marriage to become too public. Besides, Anna and I still barely knew each other. I didn't even know if we would make it to the end. If we divorced someday, wouldn't that affect her reputation? Okay. Noticing the complicated expression on my face, Anna obediently put down her phone. Oh, right. There's a banquet tomorrow night. I'd like to bring you with me. I originally wanted to refuse, but thinking about how I wouldn't be able to avoid these social occasions in the future anyway, I stayed silent. Seeing my hesitation, Anna didn't want to pressure me. If you don't want to go tomorrow, I'll go. I interrupted her. I'll go with you. Oh, right. This is for you. I pulled an exquisitely wrapped box from my pocket. Inside was an emerald green jade bracelet, which I gently placed onto Anna's wrist. She looked startled. What is this? A wedding gift from me. I once believed this bracelet would end up on Willow's wrist. Unfortunately for her, she no longer had that chance. Anna smiled softly. Then I'll accept it. She wasn't the shy or overly reserved type. She immediately wore the bracelet on her wrist. Chapter 15. That night, I went to Anna's house. Since ours was a contractual marriage, Anna had already instructed the servants to prepare a separate bedroom for me in advance. Oh, right. There's one more thing. Please sign this. Anna handed me a document. I glanced through it and realized it was a contract. The general meaning was simple. Our marriage existed only to reassure both families. She would never force me to do anything, and if either of us wanted to end the marriage during this period, we could do so at any time. For some reason, after seeing the contract, I felt relieved. I picked up a pen and signed it without hesitation. I knew this agreement was good for both of us. All right, get some rest early. As she watched me sign, a trace of loneliness flashed through Anna's eyes. Afterward, she said she still had work to deal with that night and left. That evening, I slept unusually peacefully. On the day of the banquet, I wasn't feeling very well, so I went to the hospital first. I told Anna to head to the banquet ahead of me. Anna was busy too. She stayed at the company until 7 in the evening before finally attending the banquet. Not even having time to properly get ready, she casually grabbed a cheapao to wear. Compared to the extravagant luxury of the banquet, she almost looked out of place. Standing at the edge of the venue, she held a small slice of cake while absent-mindedly waiting for George. Miss, my stomach suddenly hurts. Could you please help me deliver this drink to that gentleman over there? A server approached her for help. Without thinking much about it, Anna accepted the tray from her hands. Sure. Thank you so much, miss. The server clutched her stomach and hurried away. Just as Anna was about to deliver the drinks, someone called out behind her. Anna. She turned around and saw Willow. The moment Willow saw Anna, her expression instantly darkened. With a cold laugh, she said, "What a small world." Anna raised an eyebrow and replied calmly, "Yeah, very small." Willow asked, "What are you doing here?" She looked Anna up and down, noticing she wasn't wearing an evening gown tonight, and she was holding a serving tray. Willow smirked mockingly. "Anna, have you fallen this low already? You're actually working as a server at a banquet now." Her smile became even more smug. "What? Did the Sue family go bankrupt? Is that why you're out here trying to make money?" Anna's pretty face instantly turned cold. "Willow, why does your mouth smell so foul? Want me to wash it out for you?" At that moment, she genuinely wished George could see what kind of woman he had fallen in love with. "You should wash your own mouth first. I can't be bothered wasting time with you." Anna turned to leave, but then she spotted Makoto standing outside the crowd. The moment she remembered everything George had sacrificed for Willow over the years, anger instantly surged through her chest. She said coldly, "Willow, karma's going to catch up to you sooner or later. George was such a wonderful man and you threw him away, choosing trash like Makoto instead. One day, you'll regret it." The moment George's name was mentioned, Willow's previously calm emotions exploded violently. "How do you know about George? Anna, did you hide him somewhere?" Willow suddenly dropped the wine glass in her hand and rushed forward, grabbing Anna by the throat. Anna was shoved violently against the wall. "Cough, what are you doing? Let go of me." "Anna, you'd better stop provoking me. And Makoto isn't someone you're qualified to insult. Now tell me where George is." "What I said is the truth. George stayed by your side for so many years. How did you treat him? You're disgusting. And you still want to know where he is? Keep dreaming. The matters between George and me are none of your business." Chapter 16. Willow's grip tightened a little more. Gasping for air, Anna struggled and shouted, "Let go of me. Have you lost your mind?" She reached up to pry Willow's hand away. The bracelet on Anna's wrist instantly caught Willow's attention. Staring at it, she felt an intense sense of familiarity. She remembered that George used to have a very similar bracelet. Willow's expression turned colder. Could it be that she really knew George? Did he put that bracelet on her himself? If he was still alive, why wouldn't he come see me? Why would he go see Anna instead? Her thoughts spiraled into chaos, and her hand slowly loosened. She asked, "Where did you get that thing on your wrist?" Anna shot back, "What's it got to do with you?" Not wanting to waste any more time arguing with her, Anna shoved Willow aside and tried to leave, but Willow angrily grabbed her hair and snapped, "If you don't explain yourself today, don't even think about leaving." "Ah, you psycho." A sharp pain shot through her scalp. Before Anna could fight back, Willow had already seized her wrist and started taking off the bracelet. Watching the bracelet being snatched away, Anna's anger flared even more. She yelled, "Willow, give it back, that bracelet is mine." "Where exactly did you get this bracelet from?" The moment it was in her hands, Willow became even more certain this bracelet belonged to George. Grinding her teeth, Willow said, "This bracelet belongs to me. You have no right to wear it." As she spoke, Willow put the bracelet onto her own wrist. The commotion was loud enough that Makoto heard it and walked over. The moment he saw Willow fighting with someone, he immediately stepped in. "Willow, what's going on?" Willow shook her head, instinctively hiding anything related to George. "It's nothing. She was talking trash about you just now, and I couldn't stand it." Makoto looked at Anna and asked coldly, "Miss Sue, did I do something to offend you?" Anna sneered. "Makoto, I'm not in the mood to waste words with you. Your girlfriend stole my stuff. Tell her to give it back." "What stuff?" Makoto turned to Willow. "You took something from her?" "I didn't. He said this bracelet belonged to me." Willow raised the bracelet on her wrist. "I'm just taking back what's mine." Catching sight of the bracelet, Makoto frowned. This bracelet belonged to George?" Anna cut in. "If you don't give it back, I'm calling the cops." Her face was icy. She had completely run out of patience for this ridiculous drama. Willow questioned her. "You still haven't told me why he gave you this bracelet. Where exactly is he?" Anna replied, My boyfriend gave it to me. What does that have to do with you?" The word husband almost slipped out, but after a moment's thought, she changed it to boyfriend. She didn't want things to become even more complicated after George arrived. "Boyfriend." Willow's face darkened even further. "How could you have a boyfriend? After all these years, I've never even seen you date anyone." "None of your business." Anna rolled her eyes, completely fed up with this woman. "It has nothing to do with you. Give me back the bracelet right now, or I'm seriously calling the police." "In your dreams." Willow turned to leave, but Anna grabbed her arm. "Let go of me." Makoto stepped forward and shoved Anna away. Caught off guard, Anna lost her balance and crashed to the floor. Anna. Chapter 17. Beyond the crowd. A tall man strode over quickly. The moment I appeared, everyone's attention shifted to me. The instant Willow saw me, her eyes widened in shock. "George, you're not dead. You're really alive." I let out a cold laugh. "Sorry to disappoint you, President Liu." Willow grabbed my hand and demanded in a low voice, "Where have you been? Why did you disappear without saying a word? Do you have any idea how worried I was? I almost thought you were dead." Seeing the concern on her face, I laughed. I asked, "President Liu, if I had died, wouldn't that have been exactly what you wanted?" Willow frowned. "Do you even hear yourself right now?" Then she said, "Come with me. Let go." I shook off her hand and said flatly, "We have nothing to do with each other anymore. I hope you'll stop bothering me." But she replied, "Stop saying things you don't mean." Willow stared at my emotionless face and said coldly, "You came here today just to get my attention, didn't you? Congratulations. You succeeded. Now come with me." Looking at Willow, I almost burst out laughing. How did I never realize before that this woman was this unbelievably self-confident? "Willow, I'll say this one last time. I didn't come here because of you," Willow said unhappily. "How long are you going to keep throwing this tantrum? If this is about what happened that night, then fine. I apologize. But if you hadn't insisted on provoking those people, none of that would have happened." My pupils tightened sharply. Looking at the woman in front of me, I truly felt like all the sincerity I had given her over the years had been wasted on someone who never deserved it. "Think whatever you want, Willow. I've already made myself clear enough. We're done. I don't need your apology." Seeing that things were going badly, Makoto grabbed Willow's arm and said, "I'm not feeling well. Let's go back." "Okay." But Willow replied, "If you don't feel well, then go back by yourself." It was the first time Willow had ever spoken to Makoto in such a harsh tone. Makoto froze for a moment, clearly not expecting her to treat him this way. His expression immediately darkened. The moment Willow noticed he was upset, she softened again. "All right. Once I finish dealing with things between George and me, I'll take you back." Watching the two of them, I felt nothing but disgust. "George, come back with me right now." Still that same commanding tone. If it had been the old me, how could I possibly have disobeyed her? But now, it only sounded ridiculous. "President Liu, do you always enjoy stealing your boyfriend's girlfriend's belongings?" "What did you just say?" Willow stared at me coldly. "When did I ever steal someone's girlfriend's things?" I replied. "You stole mine. Are you kidding me?" Willow was so furious her face nearly twisted out of shape. She demanded, "Anna is your girlfriend. Then what was she supposed to be?" "Anna, are you hurt?" I ignored Willow completely and lowered my head to check on Anna. There was slight redness and swelling around her wrist and neck, and the sight made my heart ache. I had only arrived a little late, yet she had already gotten hurt this badly. I'm fine. Anna shook her head. This was the first time, the very first time, I had ever shown concern for her. Looking at the smile on my face, Willow seemed dazed. Back then, George only smiled at her like that. Around other women, he had always been cold and distant. But now, George was actually smiling at her sworn enemy. Impossible. Willow refused to believe it. Her mind went completely blank as she asked, George, you're doing this on purpose, aren't you? You found Anna just to make me jealous. As long as you come back to me now, I'll forgive everything you've done before. Go back to your side. Why would I go back to your side? I looked at her indifferently. Willow, I'll say this again. I don't love you anymore. We're done. Give me back the bracelet. Chapter 18. Seeing the coldness in my eyes, Willow angrily threw the bracelet back at me. Word by word, I said, if I ever find out you're acting like a lunatic again, we'll be meeting at the police station next time. After warning Makoto, I took Anna's hand and walked out beside her. We had barely gone a few steps when Makoto shouted from behind us. Miss Sue, do you even know what kind of man is standing next to you? Everyone in the circle knows that George spent 7 years as Willow's secret lover, basically her pretty boy. Aren't you afraid people will say you're picking up somebody else's leftovers? Hearing those words, my body trembled slightly, and my grip on Anna's hand slowly loosened. But Anna didn't give me the chance to pull away. Instead, she held my hand even tighter. She said, I don't care about his past with someone else. What I care about is the present and the future. And besides, sir, if that counts as someone else's leftovers, then wouldn't Willow be leftovers to you too? After throwing out that line, Anna supported me as we left without looking back. Makoto was so furious he nearly exploded on the spot, while Willow stared at the backs of the two of us disappearing into the distance, drowning in overwhelming pain. After leaving the banquet, I got into Anna's car. I'm sorry, I apologized softly. If I had arrived on time, you wouldn't have had to go through something so humiliating. No. Anna shook her head. I should be thanking you. Thank you for standing up for me. Being protected by someone feels really nice. I'm your husband. It's only natural. I looked at the woman's profile. After hesitating for a long time, I finally said, Miss Sue, you saw what happened earlier too. Makoto wasn't wrong. I really was Willow's lover for 7 years. If that bothers you, I don't mind. Anna pulled the car over to the side of the road and looked directly into my eyes, her gaze unwavering. I really don't mind at all. Her eyes sparkled like a sky full of stars, and I couldn't understand it. I asked, why? She replied, you'll understand someday. I nodded. My eyes fell on her swollen wrist, and without another word, I gently started massaging it. Does it hurt? My movements were incredibly gentle. Looking at how attentive and caring the man before her was, Anna's nose suddenly stung, and tears welled up in her eyes. What's wrong? Did I hurt you? The moment I saw her crying, I immediately let go. Anna shook her head. No, I'm just really happy. Silly girl, wear what I gave you properly. I took the bracelet and placed it onto Anna's other wrist. If anyone bullies you again, call me. I'll be there as fast as possible. You're my wife. Nobody gets to bully you. Okay. Anna gazed at the men in front of her, ripples spreading through her heart. If this marriage were real, it would probably be wonderful. But when would George ever truly fall for her? The next morning, I returned to the apartment to collect my luggage. I hadn't been back for several days. Standing there again, countless memories flooded through my mind, frame after frame, like scenes from a movie. The moment I entered, I saw Willow. The instant Willow saw me, she rushed toward me like she had gone crazy. George, you came back. You still love me the most, don't you? Everything you said yesterday was a lie. You're not really with Anna. You were just trying to make me jealous. A strong smell of alcohol hit me immediately. Willow had drunk a lot and was already somewhat drunk. In all 7 years, this was the first time I had ever seen her like this. Chapter 19. Looking at her almost hysterical state, I was strangely calm instead. I said, stop being ridiculous. Willow, you're not usually someone who loses control like this. The look on my face made it clear I wasn't joking. Slowly, Willow loosened her grip on my arm. She asked, are you serious? You really want to leave me? Why wouldn't I? I replied calmly. I stayed by your side for 7 years. Other than those nearly identical ties, what else have you ever given me? My question left her speechless. I continued. You wouldn't even give me the title of boyfriend. You want to be my boyfriend, right? You want the whole world to know you're my boyfriend. Fine. As long as you come back to me, I'll announce to everyone immediately that you, George, are my boyfriend. Too late. My thin lips parted slightly, but the words that came out were unbearably cruel. It's too late, Willow. I'm already with someone else. Willow shook her head. I don't believe you. You still love me. Otherwise, why would you come back here? I came back to get my luggage. If my ID and important documents hadn't been inside, I wouldn't even have bothered coming. No, don't go, George. Suddenly, she threw her arms around me. Standing on tiptoe, Willow tried to kiss me. George, don't leave. Please, please don't leave me. She wanted to kiss me the way she used to, but now, all I felt was disgust. Willow, are you insane? No, I won't let go of you. I'll never let go of you again. I shoved Willow away forcefully. Caught off balance, she crashed hard onto the floor, her head slamming against the nearby coffee table. The sharp pain sobered the drunken Willow slightly. George, do you really hate me that much? Still unwilling to give up, she reached for my clothes again, trying to undo them. I grabbed her hand. During the struggle, Willow noticed a vase on the shelf tipping over. Watch out. She shoved me away with all her strength. Crash. The vase smashed against Willow's head before shattering into pieces on the floor. Blood instantly streamed down her forehead. At that moment, she finally became completely sober. I frowned. Even after everything, seeing her injured still made me worried. Are you okay? Do you want me to call an ambulance? The air quickly filled with the heavy scent of blood. Willow looked at me as tears slipped from her eyes. It hurts so much. I want you to comfort me. I sighed softly. The first aid kit is on the second shelf of the cabinet. Don't forget to get it. Why? George, why are you treating me like this? Willow, wake up. I don't love you anymore. I don't believe it. She refused to believe it. He had loved her for 7 whole years. How could he suddenly stop loving her? Willow, do you know something? That day at Scarlet Night, those people almost beat me to death. If Anna hadn't shown up, I'd already be dead. Willow would never know just how desperate George had felt that night. He had begged her for help, desperately hoping she would save him, but she walked away without even looking back. Chapter 20. From that moment on, my heart had already died. Willow apologized through a face full of pain. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, George. Please forgive me. I shook my head. You never loved me anyway, did you? Let's just end it here. I rushed upstairs, grabbed my suitcase, and left without the slightest hesitation. The door swung open as Willow stumbled after me. She grabbed my hand and begged me not to leave. George, please don't go. Okay, whatever you want, I'll give it to you, as long as you stay. My footsteps paused. I turned back and looked at the woman I had loved for a full 7 years. Yet my heart remained completely calm. If anything, the whole situation felt a little absurd. As far as I could remember, Willow had never humbled herself like this to beg me before. Whenever we fought in the past, I was always the one who lowered my head first. She had always been untouchable, the proud daughter of heaven. How could someone like her ever apologize first? But now, seeing her so broken, covered in blood, her eyes red and swollen, I couldn't help feeling a little soft-hearted. Willow, don't do this. Some things, once they're over, can never go back to the way they were again. Do you understand? I don't understand. I only know that I don't want you to leave. Willow reached out, trying to hug me, but before she could, Anna arrived just in time and pulled me behind her. Seeing Anna, I was a little surprised. Why are you here? Anna lifted my suitcase. A trace of concern appeared on her cool, composed face. How could she not come? If she came any later, her husband might really get stolen away, she said. I was worried it'd be inconvenient for you to carry everything alone, so I came to pick you up. Willow exploded in anger. Get out of the way. Drunk and furious, Willow raised her hand, trying to shove Anna aside, but she couldn't move her even an inch. Anna stared at Willow expressionlessly and said in a deep voice, Miss Lou should have a little more self-respect. George is my boyfriend now. Actually, he was her husband too. If she weren't worried that George might dislike it, she would have already said it out loud. After all, she was legally married to him now. Who the hell do you think you are? Anna, get the hell away from him. Enraged, Willow lunged at her, but Anna dodged effortlessly. Losing her balance, Willow crashed onto the floor. If this had happened in the past, I would have rushed over to help her up immediately. But today, I simply stood there silently, watching everything unfold without the slightest reaction. The coldness on my face stabbed straight through Willow's heart. So this was what it felt like to be ignored. It hurt this much. George, she called out to me. Anna interrupted her. George, let's go. I nodded. Okay, let's go. I got into the car without looking back even once. Chapter 21. Willow stood there blankly, her rosy lips parting slightly. George, I love you. I'm already hopelessly in love with you. Please don't leave. Okay. Unfortunately, George never heard those words, and even if he had, he no longer cared. By the time Makoto arrived, Willow was already sitting back on the sofa. The couch and carpet were covered in blood, and there was blood smeared across her face and lips as well. Makoto was so shocked that he thought the house had been robbed. What happened? Willow, what happened to you? Who hurt you? Get lost. She lowered her head, her voice ice cold. Makoto thought he had heard wrong. Willow, what did you say? I said, get lost. She lifted her eyes, and the distance and coldness in them made Makoto's heart tremble. Makoto asked, why? But instead of answering, Willow looked at the suitcase in his hand. What's that you're holding? She suddenly grabbed the ashtray from the table and hurled it against the wall. Bang. The loud crash startled Makoto so badly that he barely dared to breathe. Makoto quickly explained, it's my luggage. George moved out, so I moved back in. Isn't that normal? Who said you could live here? Willow grabbed his suitcase and threw it straight outside. Makoto stared at her in shock. Willow, what's wrong with you? What are you doing? This was my home to begin with, wasn't it? You only gave it to George because I didn't want it anymore. Willow shot back. Exactly. 7 years ago, you were the one who didn't want me either. So if that's the case, why did you come back? Looking at Willow's devastated expression, Makoto instantly understood. You really fell in love with George, didn't you? Yes. The answer came almost without hesitation. Makoto looked at her in disbelief. Willow, do you even realize what you're saying? Word by word, Willow replied. I fell in love with George. I've been in love with George for a long time already. He's the person I love most in this entire life. Then what about me? Makoto refused to give up. What am I supposed to be? Don't come looking for me again in the future. Willow shut the door as she said, I'm going to win George back. He already has a girlfriend. Makoto slammed his fists against the door in anger, but the person inside didn't react at all. Willow believed that as long as George wasn't married yet, she still had a chance. She refused to believe that their 7 years together could lose to the few short days he had spent with Anna. Chapter 22. Inside the car, neither of us spoke first, and the atmosphere became awkward for a while. Anna was the first to break the silence. Tonight, I'm taking you home to meet my parents. I asked, that soon? The words startled me a little. I couldn't help worrying that Anna's parents might dislike me. Back then, I had met Willow's family a few times too, since they probably knew about my relationship with Willow. Every meeting was filled with sarcasm and mockery. They would say I was perfectly suited to being an assistant, that I was clearly talented at taking care of Willow so obediently. They also warned me to know my place. Since our backgrounds didn't match, I shouldn't dream about becoming Willow's husband. I was worried Anna's parents might treat me the same way. She said, we're married now. It's only right that we go see them. Of course Anna wanted to bring him home. With Willow clinging to George so desperately, there was no way she wouldn't feel a sense of crisis. All right, since we were married, meeting the parents really was the proper thing to do. I had already mentally prepared myself. Still, I knew this marriage was fake. It was only to reassure both of our families. So why did I feel a little disappointed? Part of me even wished I had never signed that contract in the first place. If this marriage were real, how wonderful would that be? I followed Anna home. The moment the car stopped, I saw 3 people already waiting at the door. As soon as I stepped out of the car, a woman wearing a cheapao immediately walked over and grabbed my hand. Oh my, you must be George. You're even more handsome in person than in the photos. The middle-aged man beside her gave me a once-over before nodding in satisfaction. Another girl, dressed in a cute and youthful style, smiled brightly and called out, brother-in-law, welcome home. I knew they were Anna's family, but I never expected them to treat me with such warmth. The contrast between them and Willow's family was painfully obvious. Sis, after wanting him for so many years, you finally managed to win brother-in-law over. You must be so happy. What nonsense are you talking about? Anna shot the girl a playful glare, her cheeks instantly turning red. I assumed Anna had simply wanted to get married for many years, so I didn't think too deeply about it and followed the family inside. Anna's family treated me incredibly well. After just one meal, I felt a warmth I hadn't experienced in a very long time. After dinner, Anna's mother immediately noticed the bracelet on Anna's wrist. Joy flashed through her eyes. Even the family heirloom had already been given to his wife. She said, I remember this bracelet belonged to George's grandmother, and now it's on your wrist, Anna. It looks like he's truly accepted you. Huh? Anna froze. Wasn't it supposed to be just an ordinary wedding gift? She hadn't realized it was this important. He told me it was just a normal bracelet. Silly girl. This gift is incredibly precious. Anna lowered her head and looked at the bracelet on her wrist, her gaze slowly dimming. She thought to herself, George is such a wonderful man. The woman who marries him for real would probably be very happy. Unfortunately, everything between them was fake. Once the contract expired, George would eventually leave. Before leaving, Anna was pulled aside by her younger sister. Sis, your dream finally came true. Hurry up and tell me, how did you manage to win brother-in-law over? You little troublemaker. Stop talking nonsense. It'll scare George away. Oh wow. You only know how to care about brother-in-law now. Why don't you care about your poor little sister too? So when are you planning to tell him that you've actually liked him for a long time already? Maybe someday in the future. Chapter 23. Anna lifted her eyes and looked at me, sitting somewhat awkwardly on the sofa. We should head back now. Only after leaving the Sue family home did the tension inside me finally ease completely. Anna noticed my discomfort and said, "Don't worry, we won't visit the family estate very often. At my own place, besides me and a few servants, there's nobody else." After spending time together, Anna realized that George was an incredibly gentleman. He constantly considered her feelings, was thoughtful in everything he did, and carried himself with elegance and grace. She truly hoped that one day, George would accept her. When we got home, I sat cross-legged on the carpet in the living room, opened my laptop, and started looking for jobs. Now that I had left Lou Corporation, I needed a new job too. The weather had turned a little chilly. I wasn't wearing socks and sat barefoot on the carpet, staring intently at the computer screen. After making coffee, Anna walked out and froze for a moment when she saw the men sitting in the middle of the living room. For a second, she almost forgot. She was already married. Married to the men she had secretly longed for over countless years. Noticing that I wasn't wearing socks and looked a little cold, Anna grabbed a blanket and draped it over me. "Thank you." I was startled. Before I could react, Anna had already brought me a pair of socks too. "Be careful not to catch a cold." Her voice was gentle. Looking at her beautiful face, my heart skipped for just a moment. Anna handed me the coffee in her hand. "Want some coffee?" I made it myself. I accepted it and took a sip. "It's delicious." It had been a long time since I tasted coffee this good. Actually, I loved coffee, but over the years, I had always been the one making coffee for Willow. No one had ever made coffee for me. Anna smiled softly. "If you like it, I can make it for you every day from now on." Looking at such a gentle woman, it was hard not to feel something stir inside me. She glanced at my computer screen and asked, "You're job hunting?" Then she sat down beside me. The distance between us instantly became dangerously close, filling the air with subtle tension. "Yeah, I still need to support myself somehow," but she replied. "I can support you." Anna turned her head slightly, and our noses accidentally brushed together. I jerked away like I'd been electrocuted, my face turning red all the way to my ears. I muttered, "I'm a grown man. How could I let you support me?" Keeping my head lowered, I didn't dare look at her. Anna pressed her lips together in a faint smile and said softly, "I'd be willing to support you for a lifetime." What? I hadn't heard her clearly, but when I asked again, Anna had already changed her tone. "I mean, I happen to need a secretary right now. Your professional background fits perfectly, so you could work as my secretary." I blinked. "Really? If you don't mind, the closer you are to someone, the easier it is for feelings to grow over time." Anna believed that one day, she would move his heart and make him willing to stay by her side. After George left, Willow completely fell apart. Every single day, she had people searching for information about him. Makoto came to the company several times looking for her, but she refused to see him every time. An assistant pushed the office door open. "President Liu, get out." Willow Liu snarled with reddened eyes. President Liu. Assistant Wang joined Sue Corporation this morning. He became Anna Sue's secretary. "What did you say?" The woman lifted her eyes, coldness filling them instantly. The assistant trembled as he spoke. "I heard. Miss Sue hired Assistant Wang away with a very high salary. There was still a mountain of unfinished messes waiting for George to come back and handle at her company. Yet he really wasn't coming back anymore. He had actually gone to Anna's company instead. He should have known she was still waiting for him to return. He should have known that she couldn't manage without him. "Prepare the car." "Where are you going?" "To Sue Corporation." Willow didn't rush upstairs to look for George. Over the past few days, she had carefully thought things through. The George she knew liked the kind and gentle version of her. If she barged in recklessly, it would probably only make him dislike her even more. So instead, she obediently waited downstairs. Willow waited outside for a very long time. Only after work ended did she finally see George appear. Just as she was about to walk toward him, Anna suddenly appeared by his side. Chapter 24. George. The moment I saw Willow, the smile on my face froze. I asked coldly, "What are you doing here?" She replied, "I missed you a little. Can we have dinner together?" "I'm busy." I walked around her, intending to get into Anna's car, but Willow blocked my way. "George, I really know I was wrong now. Please give me one more chance." "Okay, I'll apologize properly. If you want marriage, I'll take you home to meet my parents immediately." The almost pleading tone in Willow's voice only disgusted me now. I finally understood something. When you love someone, everything they do feels right, but once you stop loving them, everything they do becomes unnecessary. "Willow, wake up." Wasn't what I said that day clear enough? I don't love you anymore, and I definitely won't marry you. Please, stop bothering me. I know you're lying. You love me. You have to still love me. She grabbed my hand and tried pulling me toward her car. Her grip hurt my wrist so badly that I frowned tightly. Anna rushed forward immediately. Miss Lou, if you keep this up, I'm calling the police. I'm talking to my boyfriend. Stay out of it. Willow lifted her head, her cold gaze shooting straight toward Anna. Please get one thing straight. George is my boyfriend now, not yours. Anna, I've put up with you for long enough. Willow raised her hand, about to slap Anna. I stepped forward instantly and grabbed Willow's wrist tightly. What do you think you're doing? Don't you dare touch her. Seeing me defend Anna made Willow's heart ache unbearably. George, she started it first. She didn't do anything to you. You're the one causing trouble over and over again. I already told you clearly, we have nothing to do with each other anymore. I don't love you anymore. The moment the words left my mouth, Willow yanked her hand free and slapped me hard across the face. Shut up, shut up. I don't believe you. I don't believe you stopped loving me. I didn't dodge in time and took the slap head on. Seeing me get hit, Anna panicked and rushed over immediately. George, are you okay? Willow had used almost all her strength in that slap. The corner of my mouth had split open and started bleeding. Anna hurriedly pulled tissues from her pocket and wiped the blood away helplessly. Does it hurt? It's fine. It doesn't hurt. I took the tissue from her hand and smiled at her gently. Finished hitting me now? Have you calmed down? Don't push me to the point where I hit a woman. Then I turned to look at Willow, who was on the verge of completely breaking down. Willow shook her head as tears poured down her face. I didn't mean to do it. George, please forgive me. Okay. It's impossible. Willow, there's no future for us anymore. I'm already married to Anna. I tightly held Anna's hand. Our fingers interlocked. Willow stared at me in disbelief. We had been together for 7 years. 7 whole years. And yet I had turned around and married another woman. You're lying to me just because I slapped you, right? Whether you're really married or not. You think I can't find out? You don't believe me. I nodded toward Anna, signaling for her to take out her phone. Back when we got our marriage certificate, Anna had taken photos of it. At first, I hadn't wanted to make things ugly, but Willow had practically lost her mind now. I had no choice but to show her the marriage certificate and force her to face reality. I said, take a look. What is this? I held the photo of the marriage certificate in front of Willow and even zoomed in on the picture printed on it. The two people in the photo looked perfectly matched together. A handsome man and a beautiful woman. Fake. Willow refused to believe it. She shook her head while laughing bitterly. George, there's no way you married someone else. You loved me for 7 years. How could you possibly marry another woman? I let out a cold laugh. So you do remember we were together for 7 years. 7 years. And you still refused to even give me a proper title. But Anna met me for the first time and immediately took me to register our marriage. Willow, if you don't treasure someone's sincere heart, someone else naturally will. How did I not treasure your heart? I came looking for you now, didn't I? I told you already, as long as you're willing, we can register our marriage immediately and have the grandest wedding imaginable. I'll let the whole world know that you, George, are my man. Her face had turned deathly pale. I had never seen her look this terrible before. I sighed softly. Forget it. Willow, Anna and I won't get divorced, and there's no possibility for us anymore. Since you love Makoto and he's already back, you two can get married. I don't love him. I never loved him. For the first time in her life, Willow finally understood what it felt like to lose the person you loved most. She had always thought she loved Makoto. She thought George had only ever been a substitute, but the truth was, she had already fallen in love with George long ago. Those 7 years together, day after day, night after night, had made her hopelessly and irreversibly fall for him. She simply had never been willing to admit it. Chapter 25. I replied indifferently. Who you love has nothing to do with me anymore. Anna, let's go. Without sparing Willow another glance, I helped Anna into the car. As the car drove away, I caught sight of Willow through the rearview mirror. She stood there motionless for a very long time. She really seems to regret it now. Anna noticed the trace of loneliness in my eyes and mistakenly thought I still couldn't let Willow go, so she couldn't help speaking up. Are you okay? Anna pulled her gaze back and carefully checked the corner of my mouth. Only after confirming it had stopped bleeding did she finally relax. I'm fine. Seeing how worried she was about me made my heart secretly happy. I asked, are you worried about me? You're my husband. If I don't care about you, who else would I care about? Anna frowned unhappily. Willow has seriously gone crazy. She actually hit you, I replied calmly. She just can't accept the fact that I left her. Then she asked softly, do you regret it? Anna wanted to know how I truly felt. She was afraid I might regret marrying her. No, I denied it without the slightest hesitation. I gave up on her a long time ago. Anna lowered her head, a barely noticeable smile curving at the corners of her lips, but I still caught it. What are you smiling about? Nothing. I'm just happy. The moment she finished speaking, my face flushed red. Helplessly, I muttered. Silly girl. Come on, I'm taking you somewhere. Suddenly, I stopped the car in the middle of the busy city. Confused, Anna asked. What's wrong? I said seriously. When we were holding hands earlier, I realized there's a very serious problem. It has to be fixed immediately. What problem? I led her into a jewelry store and headed straight for the ring section. Hello, could you show us a few wedding rings? Wedding rings? Anna froze for a moment. George wanted to buy wedding rings for her. But weren't they only in a contract marriage? Which one do you like? I turned to ask for her opinion. Anna casually pointed at one. This one. She knew I didn't have much money, so she deliberately chose a smaller ring. Understanding what she was trying to do made me feel deeply touched. Then we'll take this one. I took out my card and paid for it. Would you like us to wrap them up? No need. I picked up one of the diamond rings and slipped it onto my own ring finger. Then I picked up the women's ring and handed it to her. Anna pressed her lips together tightly, her heartbeat accelerating uncontrollably. George, I interrupted softly. Even if it's just a contract marriage, we should still have rings. Otherwise, it'll be too easy for people to get suspicious. Anna's heart sank slightly. So that was the reason. It was only to keep others from suspecting anything. A trace of disappointment filled her eyes. After George helped her put on the ring, she became unusually quiet. I thought she didn't like it. Thinking I might have acted too abruptly, I quickly explained. I just thought that since we're married, we should have rings. If you don't like it, no. Anna shook her head. You were being very thoughtful. Then she suddenly asked. There's one more thing. Can I post a status update now? What? Chapter 26. I didn't understand what she meant. She explained. Since Willow already knows we're married, can I finally post a status update now? Anna had wanted to tell everyone she was married for a very long time. Okay, this time, I didn't stop her. Maybe Anna needed me as a shield. The moment Anna posted the update, it immediately exploded onto the top headlines in H City. Naturally, Willow received the news too. She was so furious she nearly coughed up blood. The friend group chat instantly blew up as well. Oh my god, did you guys see that? Anna got married. Anna getting married isn't the real headline. The real headline is that she married George. Willow, did you know George got married? He actually married someone else. Willow probably knew already, right? After all, she used to be his boss. Maybe she even gave them a huge wedding gift. Reading those messages made Willow feel like her chest was about to explode from anger. Haha, she knew already. She had only just found out herself. Someone else typed, Miss Lou, why so quiet? By the way, didn't George used to be completely obsessed with you? How did he suddenly turn around and marry someone else, especially your sworn enemy Anna? Oh right, there's a gathering at Blue Jazz tonight. I heard Anna and her husband are coming. Willow, are you going? Willow tightened her grip on her phone, her dark eyes narrowing dangerously. Go. Of course she was going. After posting the status update, Anna's friends in their social circle immediately invited her out for drinks and specifically asked her to bring me along. Knowing I dislike these kinds of social gatherings, Anna originally didn't want to bring me, but I was the one who voluntarily said I wanted to go. I'll go. Since we're married, it's only right that I meet your friends. More importantly, I found myself wanting to spend more time with Anna now. Meeting her friends and learning more about her didn't sound bad at all. Blue Jazz was the most luxurious entertainment club in H City. Inside a private room on the second floor, Willow had already arrived early. The moment everyone saw her, they immediately started teasing. Oh wow, isn't Miss Lou the one who never attends the same gathering as Anna? What brought you here today? Where's your boyfriend Makoto? Don't tell me you purposely didn't bring him because you knew George would be here. Willow had already drunk several glasses of alcohol. One cold glance from her instantly shut everyone up. Willow. When Makoto appeared, Willow's expression darkened immediately. She asked coldly, "Why are you here?" Makoto answered carefully. "My friends are in the private room next door. I heard you were here, so I came to check on you." The crowd instantly started cheering. "Brother-in-law, you're here." Seeing that Willow surprisingly didn't deny it, Makoto's heart filled with joy, and he immediately sat down beside her. "Sorry everyone, we're late." When Anna and I arrived, our fingers were tightly interlocked. The moment I walked in, I saw Willow and Makoto sitting there. I hadn't expected them to come, and it instantly dampened my mood. Anna noticed the worry in my eyes and tightened her hold on my hand before openly announcing, "Let me introduce everyone. This is my husband, George." The moment Anna Sue finished introducing me, the room instantly burst into teasing laughter. Miss Sue has never brought a man to this kind of gathering before. Exactly, who would have thought the first one she'd bring would be her husband? Someone stood up and handed me a glass of alcohol. A toast to brother-in-law. Congratulations. I hesitated, unsure whether to accept it. But before I could react, Anna had already taken the glass first and downed it in one go. George can't drink alcohol. Don't bully him. I'll drink for him. Watching how protective she was of her husband made the corners of my lips curl upward uncontrollably. Back then, I was always the one drinking for Willow. I never imagined there would one day be a woman willing to drink for me instead. Miss Sue just got married and she's already protecting her husband. If he can't drink alcohol, he can at least drink water. Right, Miss Sue, do a cross-cup drink with your husband. The crowd continued cheering loudly. Anna wanted to refuse, but unexpectedly, I took the glass of water from the table first. Go ahead. Don't ruin everyone's fun. Seeing the two of us acting so affectionate, half of Willow's face had already darkened with anger, but she still forced herself to suppress the emotions boiling inside her for the sake of pride. After the cross-cup drink, Anna pulled me over to sit beside her. George, you really are impressive. Who would have thought that after leaving, you'd actually marry the daughter of Sue Corporation? Chapter 27. Makoto had never expected that after leaving Willow, George would still manage to end up with another wealthy heiress. Jealousy burned fiercely inside him. He was just a substitute, so why? How could I possibly compare to Mr. Ito? After doing something so unforgivable, you can still sit here acting perfectly calm. The moment Anna spoke, Makoto's heart trembled involuntarily. Why did it feel like there was a hidden meaning behind her words? I don't know what you're talking about. You'll understand soon enough. Heaven's net has wide meshes, but nothing slips through. If you've done something wrong, sooner or later you'll have to pay for it. Makoto panicked. He looked toward Willow, hoping she would say something for him, but he realized that Willow's gaze had been fixed on George the entire time. She wasn't paying attention to him at all. Makoto silently observed every change in Willow's expression. At first, he had thought that after George got married, he would finally have a chance to be with Willow, but looking at her attitude now, he understood. Her heart only held George. There was no place for him at all. It seemed he needed to start planning for himself. Quietly, he slipped out of the private room to make a phone call and book a plane ticket. Help me book a flight to the United States. Hurry, I'm leaving tomorrow. Willow had already drunk quite a lot and was slightly drunk. Watching George and Anna act so lovingly together only made her feel even more miserable. I'm going to the restroom. After leaving the restroom, Willow happened to overhear people talking about George. Someone said, I never expected George, just a kept pretty boy, to be this popular. Another person replied, exactly. Did you see Willow's expression earlier when George and Anna did the cross-cup drink? She looked like she was about to explode. She regrets it now, obviously. Too bad there's no such thing as a regret pill in this world. Well, not necessarily. I heard Anna and George aren't actually married for real. Apparently they signed some kind of agreement. It's just to deal with the Sue family. What did you say? The moment Willow heard that sentence, she rushed out instantly and grabbed the woman tightly. Say that again. Miss Lou. The woman never expected Willow to suddenly appear and nearly jumped out of her skin. Willow demanded. You're saying Anna and George have a fake marriage? The woman stammered nervously. I have a friend who's close with Anna's assistant. That's what I heard. Joy instantly exploded inside Willow. In that moment, she felt completely energized again. Just as she was about to leave, she suddenly remembered the woman insulting George earlier. Picking up a nearby bucket of dirty water, Willow dumped it directly over the woman's head. Oh, Miss Lou, what are you doing? Willow let out a cold snort. If I ever hear you talking trash about George again, what gets poured on you next time won't be dirty water. Chapter 28. When Willow came out, I had just stepped out of the men's restroom. The moment I saw her, I frowned. I really should have waited until she left before coming out. Willow directly blocked my path and suddenly smiled. George, your marriage with Anna is fake, isn't it? You two aren't really together, right? My pupils contracted sharply. How could Willow possibly know about the arrangement between Anna and me? Only the two of us knew about it, at most. Perhaps the assistant who handled Anna's paperwork knew. What are you talking about? I have no idea what you mean. Panic flickered through me as I tried to walk away, but Willow suddenly threw herself into my arms. Excitedly, she said, I knew it. I knew you still loved me. I knew you and Anna weren't real. George, don't go. Don't leave me. I miss you so much. Using the alcohol as courage, she lifted her head and tried to kiss me, but I shoved her away immediately. Willow, wake up. Do you even know what you're doing? I do. You're just throwing a tantrum at me. You're using Anna to make me jealous. So you faked the marriage. Willow tried to hug me again, but Anna arrived just in time and stepped protectively in front of me. Willow, I already told you not to harass him again. Anna slapped Willow across the face. She had endured enough already. Ignoring the pain on her face, Willow continued stubbornly. Anna, don't think I don't know. Your marriage with George is just a contract marriage. You'll get divorced sooner or later, and he'll come back to me. Anna frowned beautifully. assuming George must have told Willow the truth. George, you. I quickly shook my head. It wasn't me. Hearing my answer, the heavy stone weighing on Anna's heart finally lifted. Willow continued rambling. I should have realized it earlier. Last time, neither of you were even wearing rings. You mean these? Anna raised her hand. This time, both of us were wearing wedding rings. Willow froze briefly before stubbornly saying, "Those are fake too," but Anna replied firmly. "Willow, I don't know where you heard such ridiculous nonsense, but let me make this very clear, George is my husband. In this life and the next, he'll still be my husband. You have no chance anymore, and if you dare harass him again, don't blame me for being ruthless." After booking the plane tickets, Makoto came out looking for Willow, only to find her still clinging to George. He hurried over and grabbed her. "Willow, George is already married. I'm your boyfriend." "No, their marriage is fake, and even if it's real, married people can still get divorced." The moment those words left her mouth, Makoto finally snapped after enduring her constant disregard. He raised his hand and slapped Willow hard across the face. "That's enough. Wake up already. Someone stayed by your side for 7 years, and you never appreciated him. Now that he's gone, you regret it. You're ridiculous. Willow." Makoto took a deep breath. Looking at the woman in front of him, he said word by word, "Willow, stop acting like this already. Let's go abroad together. Okay, let's leave this place." Before Willow could answer, several police officers suddenly appeared nearby. "Makoto Ito, right?" Makoto's heart instantly leapt into his throat. Willow looked completely confused. Without thinking further, Makoto turned and tried to run, but the police immediately grabbed him, pinned him against the wall, and handcuffed him. "Makoto Ito, we suspect you're involved in a case of inciting violent assault. You are required to come with us and cooperate with the investigation." "I didn't do anything." Makoto panicked. He had clearly already bribed and arranged everything. Could Anna really have intervened? "Miss Sue, thank you for providing the lead. We will definitely investigate this case thoroughly." Chapter 29. I frowned. I had thought this matter had already been buried and forgotten long ago. I never expected Anna had been quietly investigating it behind the scenes the entire time. Warmth spread through my heart, and I unconsciously tightened my grip on Anna's hand. Willow asked in confusion, "What assault case? Makoto, what did you do?" "What did he do?" I let out a cold laugh. Even now, Willow still didn't understand what kind of person Makoto truly was. "Willow, I already told you before, the thugs from that night weren't hired by me. Makoto was the one who arranged everything. He staged the whole act himself. Unfortunately, you were too blind to see through it." Willow's mind went blank. She stared at Makoto in disbelief. "Makoto, is what he said true? You were really the one behind all of this? Have you lost your mind?" "Yes, I've gone crazy." At this point, Makoto no longer bothered pretending. He broke down and shouted, "I was the one who had you kidnapped. I was the one who framed him, because he stole you away from me. I would never let anyone take you from me. Willow, you promised you'd be with me. You promised you'd marry me, but now your heart is completely full of him. The only thing I regret is that those people didn't beat him to death that night." "You're insane. You really are insane." Willow shook her head, her eyes filled with grief and fury. Makoto gritted his teeth. "Yeah, I'm crazy, but you're no better. You were the one who paid those thugs afterward to beat George." The police immediately grabbed Willow as well. "Miss Liu, you'll need to come with us too." "No." I was confused for a moment. I didn't mean it. I never wanted George to get hurt. Willow lifted her eyes toward me, but I didn't even look at her once. Makoto burst into loud, hysterical laughter. "Willow, you're not a good person either. George stayed with you for 7 years, and you never once thought about giving him a proper place by your side. If you're not a toxic girlfriend, then what are you? And now you want forgiveness. Keep dreaming. I'm the one who loves you the most. We're the perfect match. Move." The police dragged the emotionally unstable Makoto and Willow away. Even as he was taken out, Makoto continued roaring, "Willow, let's pay for our sins together. You'll never be happy. Never. Let's go too." Anna held my hand and led me away. From beginning to end, I never looked back at Willow again. As Willow was escorted away, despair flashed through her eyes. She had lost me, lost the men she loved most. On the drive home, my thoughts were a complete mess. Too many things had happened tonight, leaving me dazed. Anna asked softly, "What are you thinking about?" I looked at her gratefully. "Nothing much. I just didn't realize you'd done so much behind the scenes." "Anna, thank you, really." Anna gently rubbed my hair. "Silly, I just didn't want you to suffer for nothing." The car came to a stop. I lifted my head and glanced around. This wasn't Anna's home. It was my old university campus. "Why did you bring me here?" Anna smiled faintly. "I haven't been back in a long time. I wanted to come take a look." Chapter 30. Anna got out of the car, and I followed after her. It was a little cold outside, so I took off my coat and draped it over her shoulders. Thank you, I asked curiously. You went to this university too? I honestly had very little impression of Anna. By all logic, a woman this outstanding should have been somewhat famous around campus. She smiled lightly. You really don't remember me? Anna laughed softly. I guess that makes sense. We only met once. You probably forgot a long time ago. You mean, we've met before? She nodded. At the outstanding graduate ceremony. I saw you there. I lost my speech draft that day, and you helped me find it. Looking at the woman before me, my thoughts drifted back to my university days. Back then, as the representative of the outstanding graduates, I had been nervously rehearsing my speech backstage. I did remember meeting a girl who was also preparing to give a speech. She had lost her script, and I spent a long time helping her search for it before finally finding it tucked away in a corner. But at the time, I had been too nervous to even remember what the girl looked like. So it had been her. It had been Anna. That girl was you. Remember now? Anna smiled. Unfortunately, graduation happened right after that. By the time I tried looking for you again, I couldn't find any information about you anymore. It wasn't until years later, at a business event, that I saw you again and learned you had become Willow's special assistant. So that's what happened. I pressed my lips together. For some reason, hearing her say all this made me strangely nervous. Why did it feel like Anna was about to confess her feelings to me? George, if I told you I started liking you from that moment on, would it scare you? Looking at the woman in front of me, I couldn't help laughing helplessly. Who confesses like that? Asking first whether it'll scare me. Then you. Anna looked unusually nervous. Only in front of me would she ever act like this. I sighed softly. But didn't we sign an agreement? A trace of sadness crossed my face. Without saying another word, Anna suddenly pulled out the contract from somewhere. Right in front of me. She tore it into pieces. She said softly, if you still want the agreement, then it has a reason to exist. But if you don't want it anymore, then there's no need to keep it. Watching her tear up the contract, I suddenly burst into laughter. It had been so long, so incredibly long since I had laughed this genuinely. This kind of heartfelt happiness. I had never once felt it while I was with Willow. On the day Anna and I held our wedding, almost every important figure in the city attended. While helping me straighten my clothes, my mother's smile practically reached her ears. George, after waiting 30 years, you finally got married. Mom, what nonsense are you talking about? I looked at her helplessly, slightly dissatisfied. She snorted. You're already 30 and only just now getting married, and you still have the nerve to complain. George, Anna is a wonderful woman. You better cherish her properly. I sighed. How do you know she's a good woman? Yesterday was only your first time meeting her. You fool. My mother knocked lightly against my forehead. You've met her plenty of times at family gatherings already. She picked you long ago. After finding out you didn't have a girlfriend, she even begged your aunt to help create opportunities for you too. I met her ages ago. What? I turned around in shock. How could she possibly attend our family gatherings? Because her mother is close friends with your aunt, my mother explained. Oh right, when we renovated the house a few years ago, she even came to help out a lot. Anna helped renovate our house. I frowned deeply. Why didn't I know any of this? My mother nodded. Yes, and later, when the road outside our house needed repairs, she came again too. She sighed. You were busy back then. We kept asking you to come home, but you always said you had no time. The moment Anna heard about it, she came over immediately without hesitation. Back then, my family really had asked me to return home during the renovations, but I had been too busy handling Willow's work matters. I simply didn't have the time. By the time I finally returned home, the house had already been renovated. Later, even the road outside had been repaired too. When I asked who fixed it, my mother only said some beautiful young woman had helped. I never knew all along that every single one of those things had been done by Anna for me. My mother patted my shoulder gently. Treat her well. Understand, she truly loves you. I nodded firmly. This time, I would definitely treasure Anna properly. Chapter 31. The church bells rang out as white doves flew across the rooftop. Dressed in a pure white suit, I held the woman beside me by the arm and slowly walked into the chapel step by step. I was getting married. For 7 whole years, I had dreamed of marriage. During those 7 years, even in my dreams, I always hoped the person I would eventually marry would be Willow. But at this moment, I felt grateful that the woman I married wasn't Willow. It was Anna. A woman this wonderful. I would never let her go for the rest of my life. Outside the chapel, a woman in a white dress looked down at the invitation in her hands before lifting her gaze toward the tall figure inside the church. The regret and sorrow on her face could not have been clearer. She had been the one who lost George. She had no one else to blame. Fortunately, after several days in detention, she still managed to come witness George's wedding. Willow stared fixedly at his back, as though trying to carve his image permanently into her memory. Later, Willow left the country. On the airplane, she looked at the clouds floating outside the window and suddenly seemed to see the George from 7 years ago. He held a glass of wine in his hand, his cold and handsome face shifting between light and shadow beneath the dim lighting. Just one glance, and she had already fallen hopelessly for him. If she could do it all over again, then the moment she got together with him, she would tell the entire world. George was her boyfriend. Unfortunately, there would never be another chance. Just like Makoto cursed, she would spend the rest of her life trapped in memories, never finding happiness again. You see, people are strange. The things they truly want, they can never obtain. The things they obtain, they fail to cherish, and only after losing them, do they finally learn to miss them.